clutch shots. And now, Brandon Ingram gave some eyebrow-raising praise of Zion Williamson. He said, quote, "I've never played with a player as talented as me, and he's a generational talent." Fox Sports NBA analyst Rick Bucher joins us now. Rick, when you're done laughing, are you surprised LeBron's former teammate is throwing shade at him?
I would not be the least bit surprised that a former LeBron teammate is throwing shade at him if that indeed is what is happening here. Because let's face it, what LeBron James said to all those young guns that went to New Orleans in exchange for Anthony Davis is, "You're not good enough to play with me to win a ring." And if I'm a player of any status, I would take offense to that. And if I'm a player that then goes to New Orleans and becomes an all-star, I'd take added umbrage when I heard that, or when I was basically told that. So, no, it does not surprise me that any of those guys. It actually surprises me that Lonzo Ball seems to buddy up to LeBron and doesn't have any hard feelings. I'd look at it and go, "You thought I wasn't good enough. I can't wait to show you." I think that's what Brandon Ingram is doing. And by saying that Zion, the reason I don't believe that it's throwing shade is because he's saying that Zion Williamson is on his level. He's not saying that they are on LeBron's level. Honestly, I think they look at it and say, LeBron's in a whole other category. I just have a guy that I know I can play with who doesn't suck all the oxygen out of the room and has allowed me to become an all-star, as opposed to the other guy who didn't think I could play, didn't think I could help him win. So to me, it's perfectly natural that Brandon Ingram would feel the way he does about Zion without and LeBron, without necessarily comparing the two. I think you're inflating this to say that Zion is better than LeBron James. I don't believe that that's what Brandon Ingram is saying.
Rick, I think the only way he's not throwing shade at LeBron is because we're going to take him literally and say he's saying, "I've never played with a player as talented as me. I've played with one who's more talented than me, but not as talented." Like that. Yeah. That's the only way I see it. And I think I hear what you're saying in that he's trying to compliment Zion more than he's trying to rip LeBron. I could see that. But there's no doubt it's shade. And you're right. Look, when LeBron went to L.A., it tells you how much Brandon Ingram hated that season that they had together. And I get it. It's tough. You went from being one of the faces of the most glamorous franchises in the NBA, or the most glamorous franchise in the NBA, along with Lonzo. It was you and Lonzo, the faces of that team, to be in a trade chip. You know, you became one of LeBron's supporting cast. All right. And LeBron, as you said, made you feel like you weren't good enough to play with me. I get all that. But even with that, Rick, I'm not just surprised. I'm not just stunned. I'm not just flabbergasted. I'm gobsmacked that he would go ahead and say something like this. Because this is a statement that is asinine. Ooh. It makes you look bad. Ooh. This makes Kyrie's statement look like he was blowing kisses to LeBron. This is, from a basketball standpoint, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my 26 years of covering the league. From a basketball standpoint, you can't say when you've played with LeBron James that you've never played with somebody as talented as yourself. Yeah. And I get the anger, but Brandon, you're better than that. It makes you look bad.
Rick, the only thing you forgot to mention Anthony Davis. You got traded for Anthony Davis, and the Lakers instantly won a championship.
You and three other guys. I don't care who I got traded for. LeBron James said, "I'm not good enough to help you get."
He's not good enough. That's a fact. That's a factual statement.
As a player, I would take that personally. I wouldn't feel good about that. You know what? You're right. And Anthony Davis got you a championship, and my bad. No, I would take that personally and say, let me show you different. And look, I don't get the part where it's asinine to say that I've got somebody who's as talented as me. I think it would be asinine for Brandon Ingram to say
That's fine.
Zion is the most talented player I've ever played with, or Zion Williamson is the most talented. I've never played with a player as talented as me.
So, LeVar,
I was about to say,
it's your turn. Yeah,
y'all done yet? You're
yeah,
finished.
Yeah, I just want to say asinine, so we've all said the word. Now it's out there. LeVar, go for it.
Y'all done yet, or y'all finished? Are we done yet, or are we finished?
It just depends, LeVar. Where are you going?
Let me tell y'all about Brandon Ingram, and let me tell y'all about what this could possibly be from my perspective. When you are an ultra competitive dude, and when you're an ultra competitor, all right, you're always going to believe in your own abilities. I thought I was better than Ray Lewis. If you told me that I played with a guy and he was as good as me and it was directed towards Ray Lewis, you would not be able to convince me otherwise that I was better than Ray Lewis. Because my mind told me that's what I was, talent-wise. It might not be reflective in my stats. It might not be reflective in my MVP goals, awards. It might not be reflective in a Super Bowl. But in my mind, I think I am the best to do it. And you know what? If you're going to ever have an opportunity or have a chance to try to be the best at what you do, and that's what pros strive to be, the best at what they do, could this just be looked at as a tad bit of just sarcasm, tongue-in-cheek? I think I am very good. I think I am the most talented and the most gifted. And this dude is as gifted and as talented as I am. I don't tend to go down the road of where most people are going to travel down, right? Because if he said that, knowing that this is the road that everybody's traveling down, then it's kind of like there's no hit to it. There's no weight to it. There's nothing there. Like, that's kind of, to me, it's like you're having a moment like, oh, man, I ain't never played with a dude as talented as me since playing with this guy. It doesn't have to necessarily be shot in a way where you're taking a shot at the obvious. I know I was traded for Anthony Davis. I know I played with LeBron James, but I also know how good I am. And I'll be honest with you, if you really think about it, in some circles, I was better than Ray Lewis. In some circles, people may say that Brandon is better than LeBron James.
No, nobody says that.
It might sound crazy. Listen,
no, don't go there.
It might sound crazy. There's a kid that was standing there on the bleachers watching Brandon play when he was growing up. There's somebody somewhere. I don't know where they're at. I don't know where it exists. It could be where he grew up. There's somebody that saw the talent of Brandon and Brandon Ingram and really felt as though that Brandon Ingram is one of the most talented dudes. Now, I might sound crazy, and y'all might sit there at home saying, LeVar sounds crazy, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I do. Everybody has a legend. Every single player that has made it to the pros has a legend, and there's a story out there that exists where you could say he did something so legendary that it would rival anybody else. People said Lenny Bias was better than Michael Jordan. If there was never, if what happened to Len Bias had ever happened, there would have never been a Michael Jordan. That's probably more urban legend than it is truth. But you know what? To people in Suitland, Maryland, shouts out to Suitland. To people in PG County, shouts out to PG County. They believe that Len Bias was a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. Somewhere, somebody thinks Brandon Ingram was that type of talent,
Rick,
and he believes it.
LeBron averaged 27, 8, and 8 in the year he played with Brandon Ingram.
Okay. Well, look, what would be asinine is if Brandon Ingram is suggesting that he's on LeBron's level and that now Zion is finally a player that's on his level. I just don't believe Brandon Ingram, no matter what the people in PG County or Maryland
not
are
PJ,
saying, is crazy enough to believe that. I do believe that this is a matter of who do I like playing with more, that's generating it, and who have I personally had more success with, and who believes in me more.
And what's wrong with that?
It makes sense that he would like. Look, Zion's a different personality. Zion's in a different place in his career. Brandon Ingram wouldn't be the first player to say that LeBron sucks all the oxygen out of the room, and it may not be personal. even though in this case I think it is. And I'd rather play someplace else and become a star than become LeBron's caddy.
Everybody's not willing to kiss rings.
Like,
Kyrie Irving was.
Y'all act like everybody's supposed to just kiss rings. Everybody don't have to sit around and kiss LeBron's ring. Everybody don't have to kiss rings.
Isn't it better to have a ring to kiss?
Everybody doesn't have to kiss rings. All right, LeBron James is good. We know he's one of the greatest ever. We know that. But he doesn't have to. Brandon Ingram doesn't have to kiss his ring.
You guys sound like Kyrie Irving when he was trying to come back and say, I wasn't talking about LeBron. If I'm talking about him, I'm going to mention his name. I mean, I get where you're going, Rick. We all know that there are players that have played with LeBron and not enjoyed it. We get that, all right? But Brandon Ingram did not. He worded his statement in a way.
It was weirdly worded.
You played with LeBron James, you know that, and you chose to say, I've never played with a